start with the Bitcoin. As usual, we'll start with 12 hours and then go higher. Now, as far as levels are concerned, there is no change. As you could see, in between, what happened in the last 1 week is nothing but a range bound movement. So now, this particular price action that you see or cluster that you see, you may relate that with the cluster on the left hand side. It's not going to be exactly the same mirror image, but kind of a similar. And basically, idea is to understand uh, pattern here and key levels. Key levels are known. Now we have to track the pattern, and then sometimes pattern completes and pattern sometimes pattern uh, is is changed, and different levels determine what when whether the channel whether the pattern is continuing or not. So the pattern that I'm tracking at this moment is I'm expecting this right hand side to be kind of a mirror image of this one. That's why I added this arch, the red dashed line, which is so if you connect all this lower point, then I would expect this will move along with this and touch this lower point and then eventually go all the way up to this one. So this is the pattern. Now where this pattern could break, the extreme level is this purple line. That's why I have been saying this, which is 45300, that this is to be tracked. And that's the main reason. If this is broken, then the whole entire pattern breaks. In that case, price comes down to lower level and potentially it could be in a 40k 42k range, but in that case it could break below and go a little lower up to 40k as well. We'll see when it happens, but um, that's the thing. So purple line is super important because that's the end point for this pattern. Now, so that's you can say support. Okay. This red box was added and this before it touched this one during the week, and it provided nice bounce here, but unfortunately the bounce was killed right later on, and now we are back to square one. This orange level has been super important. You must have noted this range, this particular level is super important around 48k. So 47900 has been a roadblock, you may say. So that's the first roadblock it has to overcome. Then 49,000 is another roadblock it has to overcome. So these are lower time frame roadblock, but important one. So usually you don't see if you go at a higher time frame. You see price being like flat, but on 12 hours you see. On weekly you wouldn't see that. Like you will see single candle. Now, so we are looking at intraday in 12 hours. That's why you see all this. But it's important to know what is happening. So this is to me is simply noise. There are two things I'll talk about. One thing is what all coins are moving along with Bitcoin and what all coins are not. Some of the coins I observed that they are not following Bitcoin, and this was highlighted a couple of weeks ago. The sensitivity of these coins have changed compared to, like, let's say couple of years ago. Couple of years ago, even 1% drop from Bitcoin is too much for alts. These days, 1% coin for some alts, they don't care and they continue moving up. When Bitcoin drops by 2-3%. So strategy wise, we were Earlier, we were totally relying on Bitcoin. When I say relying, means there was a direct correlationship and very tight coupling. That's what I mean. That means if we understand Bitcoin, we understand everything. That kind of a world we were living. I think there is a change happening, and that's what I'm trying to highlight here. But the thing is, it's not decoupling. It's a process of decoupling, but it's not decoupling yet. So it starts with lesser sensitivity. Means it's like I think the good analogy is when if you're a parent, you know when a child is very small, young, child would follow everything what parents would say. As they grow, they'll start saying no, and later on, when they reach to teenage, then they say, "Who are you?" So that kind of thing. So I think the relationship between alts and Bitcoin is something like that, where when they are when the alts were like babies, they were following each and every instruction from the parent. But as they are growing and maturing, they'll start saying, "Who are you?" So they have not reached at the teen age, but they are definitely approaching. So some of the coins are very strong. So why I'm saying this, because even though Bitcoin is range bound or not moving up, there are some coins which are providing opportunities. Of course, I always say that those opportunities are short term simply because we don't know when Bitcoin could make a big move. So nobody should feel that, oh, he said these alts are a kind of moving independently and see today it dropped. So I would say that those coins, which I'll highlight in the second part when we go through the alts, where that why I'm going to highlight and I always highlight which are strong ones. Those strong ones are likely to move, uh, they're likely to be less sensitive to Bitcoin and continue moving up. So in that case, you can choose. I mean, you can prefer to have them. You can prefer to have them because they are doing well. Yeah, but without without losing the focus on Bitcoin. So this is important, especially as I said, when Bitcoin drops to 3% or when Bitcoin is at this level. So general understanding is what you do is two things. Of course, I'm going to highlight, but it's a good exercise for you also. So the Bitcoin right now is around 1%, down by 1%. Look at what all coins are not moving up, not just but today, but last 2 3 days on an average, right? Not just today, because one day snapshot is not good enough, but you may take um, a percentage gain, I think, for a week. So today is Sunday. Compared to last week, you see what all coins have moved up. That means that the Bitcoin is not moving up, still those coins are moving up, right? So you will come to know. So you put that those coins into one different category, and then you will decide what if you want to take opportunity with them. And the rest you put under a coin, which are like you can say Bitcoin buddy coins. Right, these Bitcoin buddy coins are coins which move along with Bitcoin, like they're buddies. And the definition could change. The buddies remain not necessarily remain the buddies forever, right? You know that. So those buddies may not remain buddies in future. So see who are Bitcoin buddies and which are not. So you have two lists, two separate lists, and then you observe, and from your observation over weeks, you will understand that how who all are consistently not following Bitcoin, like which are when I say not following means less sensitive because they are not completely isolated, but who are less sensitive, you will find out very easily over time. So I'm giving some direction So you will be able to choose that. So when I talk about Bitcoin as main topic now, uh, if I say Bitcoin is likely to go down, earlier the assumption is everything is likely to go down. But when you have that bucket, you will see into that bucket, oh, are those coins really going down? If the today Bitcoin is going down, and the answer is no, then okay. And as I said, not just today, but last on an average basis. So you can simply ignore or my comment because I'm the 40 50 coins. I'm not going to, when if I update Bitcoin, I'm not going to update 40 50 coins every other hours or so, or every day. The weekly call will, but I'm giving you the formula kind of or approach, so you can do it very easily, right? So we have these two groups of coins, and just see if Bitcoin 1% movement is affecting them or not. Okay, and on an average basis, you see. So this is important thing. So now, if I say this is range bound, you don't have to assume that all the alts are range bound. Okay, let's continue with this Bitcoin. But this is important because things are changing now. Probably I should have taken this topic when I with a alt session, but probably that's all right. I didn't think about it earlier, but anyway, it's relevant to Bitcoin as well. So you know the important levels. This is the ultimate level at a higher time frame. These two levels are important are at a lower time frame. So some people are also trading, let's say, on a lower time frame. It's actually a good advantage because if I give this potential level, they take a trade and then they sell here, then short here, and so on. So they may use this information as they want. So in fact, this could be amazing for them, those who are short-term traders. So Bitcoin information that I provide could be used in many ways. Now, from if I zoom out a bit, I added this sign trend line, downtrend line, which I connected from this top, connected this particular high, and then projected up all the way here. So what might happen is when it goes along with this, this there are three key levels before it breaks above 5 to 400. Of course, the orange one, and but it has stopped many times. So in my opinion, if it goes for the next time, it is less likely to get stopped by the orange. Uh, and then if I extend this line, we are this could be the confluence zone or resistance zone. So if it is able to break above this, which is around 49K again, then price will continue moving up. And then simply you can set an alert here. So when it breaks above, then we are free. Then we are out. Once it is once it is above this one, it is possible that it retest. So what might happen if I don't draw a zigzag? Maybe I'll draw this kind of a line at this angle, which is a mirror image on the left hand side, and then it continue moving up like this, like, and then maybe I should. This is going to take time. Bitcoin, this, and will like this, like this, maybe a retest, and then shoot up, something like this. So I'm not drawing zigzag here because it can be different wavelength. It can, so simple that this is the left hand side and this is the right hand side. Okay, so this is a potential path which we had earlier. So this could be the intersection. The angle could be little different. The angle could be this. The angle could be this. Right? In that case, it could be like this. So I may keep this one. So if you look at it, we might reach this level on mid of January. So this is going to take time. So if somebody is being impatient, I think there's no other alternative if it continues. And this is very unlikely to follow, I mean, go vertically. Very, very less probability. Very, very less probability. So if I think about upside move, I would just think about this pattern. I don't think uh, uh, of a straight line. We'll see. But right now I would stick to this path. And that is around mid January we are likely to see this kind of a consolidation and then a breakout. Okay. Now, of course, if it goes down, then situation changes totally, and we'll see when it happens. Let's zoom out a bit, and we have the same pattern. So you can imagine a bowl kind of a structure. So the one day is nothing different than 12 hours at this moment, so from the pattern point of view. So we'll go on weekly. Weekly, I'll hide drawings, especially this layout, because it's too much of noise otherwise. I think weekly we should use the Bitstamp. Ah, yeah. So Bitstamp we have set up weekly. Now the last week was good. This week is not so good, but it's not that bad. Today's Sunday and last day, and it's on edge for sure, but at least it's holding up pretty well. And the lower time frame pattern we saw, if that happens, then it is likely to take a U-turn from here. So it is very well possible that this particular projection may not work. That's why I have dotted line. I don't have a solid line because this is unlikely to happen. I mean, if it continue moving on the upside like this. So eh, I would not say so this is dotted line. Maybe, maybe, for convention, I should have kept little different. Like this is dotted line and then a solid line, just to be consistent, like this. So higher level, the green and lower, right? And in between, we are kind of not sure. So this weekly is little different. That we for weekly, there are two different supports: the 40K range and 35K range. Right? So when you track weekly, the key supports changes and they are tend to be lower, right? So not very close like this on one day or 12 hours. So these are the two key levels, and this is very easy to understand that if this last 2 weeks, as you could see, it's very close. All there are, this is a solid base. So if this base is broken, it's going to unleash energy and push the price on the downside and touches 40K level, this box. So this is a checkpoint. This checkpoint, this still could provide a bounce, right? And go up. I know this red line is here, but I'm not going to change it. So this checkpoint is based on the end point of this candle, and this line is based on the trend line, which I extended from here. So both are valid technical drawings. So I'm going to keep it. It gives a wider range, but we can't help. Um, we have to keep it because both are valid technical drawings. So I'm going to keep it. So we will track 40K anyways. And but yeah, if this red line is broken, that's an alert, which is a 47K, and which is in line with actually 1 day in a way, very close. So the weekly you have seen many times, so probably I don't need to spend a lot of time here. This is still okay, so nothing to worry. Okay, this is nothing to, I mean, there's nothing to worry, and it could recover from here on. When the trend level risk, so technically speaking, I posted one thing that technically the trend will be broken if 29K is broken. So there is a technical reason, there is a technical definition of a trend. Okay, that when you see uptrend, you see the major congestion point or resistance point, and price tend to come to that point which it came here and bounce, right? So this point or this range is a trend reversal range. So that means this particular range, right? So between 29K and 35K range. So if it comes, so if this is broken, this orange line is broke, this particular 28,550, that level is broken, then uptrend is broken, then officially, that's official definition that bull run is over. Okay, and it could be not deep enough, but still definition wise the bull run is over. But and probability of that to happen will be extremely high if 35K is taken out. If this is broken, so this is super important to me. 35K on a larger scale from a longer term point of view. These things I don't mind. It may take some time. Ultimately, it will bounce and go higher. People talk about 100K, and I think that's a small number. 100K is very small number. It should go beyond 100K, 200K, 300K, without any doubt. If this breaks out uh, on upside. Now, when I say without any doubt, it's based on a technical technical ground that this consolidation provides enough energy to push the price up to that level. So 100K is very close. It's here only. Here only. This breakout is not for here. This breakout is for somewhere this range. Right. So it's not hard to digest what I said, that why 200 300. People talk about 100K because it's just a rounded number and a 6 digit number, people like it. That's not the number. So we have I have calculation for high level, and you will get it. But right now this is in the middle, and I'm also not talking about extreme low level. I'm just talking about, so we can only nearby support level. My focus is right now supports and resistance. I'm not talking about 200 300K, and I'm not talking about lower extreme lower levels. But I would like to highlight few things which is important, that what levels are super critical, because this is going down. I'm talking more about downtrend, right? If it going up, I would not talk about, for example, I would not talk about downtrend here, but I had to talk about when it is like this, because this is the first leg, and this is consolidation, and this is not here, this is here. So we have to talk about this particular lower level. That's the reason why I'm talking more about this. The moment it breaks above 53K level, where we don't have to talk about lower levels. Okay, so ultimate level is 35K because the probability of breaking this trend is very high. Ultimately, seeing is believing, right? So unless we see that happening, we don't. But as I say, why to wait for this to happen? We have to take some action in incremental way. We don't just sit and watch and say, okay, we'll see what happens here when it reaches here. If it reaches, that's too late. So when it started going down, we are supposed to take action. And if it continues going down, we have to take some action, gradual, because nothing is changing overnight. Okay, and same time, if it goes up, start you can start taking action for the upside opportunities and so on. So this weekly is super easy. This upper bound, lower bound, and this the whole entire consolidation is within this range. This is rectangular pattern, okay, and this is a channel, and this is the point where it could break and put pressure on this lower bound because statistically this pattern fails if it reaches this region. Similarly, if price reaches this level, then this goes up. This pattern is actually a continuation pattern where when this is formed, price goes here and then goes up. This is more like continuation patterns are like symmetrical triangles, flag patterns. Those are continuation, and this is the same category, right? These are like flag pattern. These are all um, a continuation pattern category. So from that point of view, price should reach here and go up. We'll see, but this is all the patterns, by the way, have some TA analyst, they have statistically analyzed that head and shoulder breaks below 60% of the time. The symmetrical triangle is kind of a neutral because you're not so sure, but maybe little higher percentage, maybe 50% of time it is a continuation pattern and so on, 60% of time. So different patterns have, so descending triangle, ascending triangle has a higher probability than symmetrical triangle. So different patterns have different statistical numbers based on how many patterns one would have studied, and very interesting. And of course, different people come up with different numbers because different samples they take. It also drive the that particular count. I particularly don't go by those stats. What I do is I recognize the pattern, I track that pattern, find when the pattern is invalidated, and then look for another pattern. And then finally, I look if the pattern continues, then I look for when the pattern is going to complete. So whether so here the pattern will complete when it reaches here or here, right? In this case, so that's very simple. And in that case, we don't have to take side. It makes the life easy. In reality, nobody can say for sure that this is going to happen. Right, so this is weekly. I'll hide the drawings. As you could see, um, there are a few things I would like to highlight. On a Bybits, I have the drawing. So this trend line is the price is still below this trend line, and this is important trend line to me. So from a trend line point of view, trend lines are very tricky. I'll tell you why. Little bit of TA. Somebody might be thinking the trend line is broken. That why Mihir is saying that the trend is not broken. A valid question. The answer is the trend line is there is no one trend line. That's the tricky part, and that's true. This is one trend line. Okay, I'll tell you why. In fact, this is already a second trend line. I'll show you. The first trend line is actually this line. Where you connect this one, touches this one, break below. Now it broke below, and you will be wondering why. So this is also broken. So I can, so right now, so the TA thing is so interesting. I'll tell you that I can make this chart bullish and bearish in a matter of minute. I'll tell you. So if I show you this one, I can make this chart very bearish, and I can convince you with that, because I can say this is dot touch 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 and broken. See, totally broken, and it is not able to climb up. So this is going down. This is so bearish, and you will buy that. And this is a valid point. So the point is not the argument. The point is the method. The method of trend line is not so is actually has multiple options. There is no one option, and that's why it's not 100% reliable, not at all. But it's a good guideline. It gives you a boundary for you to trade. So it's important, but it's not important to determine whether the trend is broken, though it's called trend line, and I'll explain to you why. So this the trend is broken, and there's no doubt as per this trend line. But if I change this and show it to here, show it like that. So here also the trend was broken. Here also it went down. It was below. You can say touches, right? And it went down with this. So you can say this particular level is similar to this level where it is down, but not broken this entirely. You can say this level has not broken. All of sudden, all of sudden you will say, oh, you're right. I mean, this is not really broken. Then I may add something else. So to see the same chart, I change a little bit and change the narrative, and things change. So this is the thing. That's why you will see different traders, sorry, different TA with a different stands, and same thing is seen differently. And the trick is how you filter, how you say what pattern you will follow, what approach you will follow. That matters, because many when you learn TA, what happens is you're going to see many things contradicting. So this is another thing. You will learn more and more indicators in methods, approaches, patterns, right? As you learn more and more, there can be more and more contradiction. And then the thing is, then you will not be able to figure out which one to follow. So when you start learning, there is different problem. First of all, you don't know TA. Second, when you start learning, then you will know there are so many things, and you don't know which one to follow, because one time so if you're using RSI is right, sometime MACD is right, sometime Bollinger Band is right, sometime whatever other method is right, other indicator is right. That's what will happen. And then the next level is where you start filtering. So the first level is you accumulate all those, and then the second level is where you start dropping them. Eventually you will drop almost everything and come up with something of your own, with some other couple of things in mind. That will be the level where you start doing your own stuff. So this is my so journey starts without any knowledge. In between, you will have plenty of options, and ultimately, you will not have many options, but one or two. Anyways, um, so I'm showing different perspectives here. So another argument you can make is, okay, it broke, but it is never able to come up actually, which is also true. If you look at it, never achieved this. It is not able to break above this blue line. So which is also equally true argument, right? So it tried to break above, failed. So you can also look from that point of view, which is totally a valid point. So you can have two trend line. I hope you don't mind. I'm just this digressed bit. I went into TA category, so hope you don't mind. Sometime I'm sure it will be very helpful for you. So you draw a trend line like this. It gives you this, and you track this. That not quite able to break, not quite able to break, and then you add. So you touch, then add one more trend line. Tuck, 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 then break. So this is something I'm going to teach. Many other method I'm going to teach in upcoming January session. My methods are very different. and sometimes you may not find that in a public domain like on internet or even books, because those are my discoveries. Maybe some other would have discovered. I'm not claiming that invention. I'm saying discovery, not invention, and not necessarily the first discovery and so on. But there are many methods and approaches that I use are not so common. Um, so this is just a glimpse of how trend line can be used. You will learn this in my TA session if you are opportunity plus or legacy. Okay, and those sessions are not recorded. Right. Anyway, so this is trend line, and trend line says the trend is still down, right? It's broken, so it has to. So this is another flavor. Anyway, so all these are different ways you can look into the same thing. Okay. So that gives you the insight of Bitcoin, and the monthly is this the wave as I said, is shortening. This is the longest, this is shortened, this is a little shorter, and then this is kind of a crown. And if it shoots up, then we could have huge move on the upside. But if it starts going down and especially break, you never know. Then I see a major risk, not just this one, but we'll see. I'm not talking about that now, but I highlighted on my last week's video that there is a bigger picture that I'm tracking, which we'll see when time comes. But you can have a last week's video it covers, so I'm not going to cover that here. So the monthly, if you look at the monthly, this is new month, so this is not bad at all. Okay, it could recover from here and go up, but if the monthly low is taken, that's not good, because then it could come down to this without any doubt, right, from a monthly point of view, because there is no major support if this last week's low is taken down. 40K, yeah, you can still argue 40K, so maybe 40K, 39K, but yeah, there's nothing much, right? So yeah, it's so important that it doesn't break 40K level from a monthly. Yeah, 40K is super important from monthly. Okay, so that's Bitcoin. Now let's go for alts. Alts are mixed bag. So I'm going to have only one video today. I'm not going to split because I mentioned some of the things which are relevant for us, right? In the beginning of the session, how you group into two is something you could do very easy. I'll highlight few things. I mean, I'm going to highlight, but it's easy for you. So Bitcoin, we saw it's range bound. It hasn't progressed. This is weekly chart. You are going to see whether any alts, any coin progressed or not, and progressing or not, right, at this moment. If they are, you put into one bucket, rest in second bucket, you, and then for a short term you focus on them. Rest, you can say whenever Bitcoin gets out of that consolidation, they could improve, and have a checkpoint every week. We're going to have a checkpoint here on this call as well, but you do as well during the week, because sometimes some coins shoot up, then it may change. So in that case, it may change its category, right? So Aave, let's look at Aave. This is nice. Last week was awesome, but still it's in downtrend. So you can say this Aave did different than Bitcoin because this is a significant move. Okay. Now the thing about Aave is this is relatively the weakest one at this moment, okay, compared to other. So there are two things. One thing I talked about which coin moved up when the Bitcoin was consolidation. That's one thing. Second thing is which which coin is near the required level. Okay. So if a coin is still far away from the required level, that means that's again a secondary. So in other words, If a coin is not following Bitcoin tight on a day-to-day basis, and any coin that is above required level, that's number one. Okay. Number two category is where the coin is not moving with Bitcoin, but getting close to required level. That's number two, right? Category wise, and rest could be number three. So that way you filter. We have 40-50 coins and you want to filter, you filter by this. Okay, so you can see that Aave it moved nicely. Now it came down, but S2 supported. So that's a good news. And then we can expect it to continue. ADA is not looking strong at this moment. It was rejected by S1. This was a good bounce though, but because it was beaten up so badly, it happened here as well. Because it was beaten up so badly, up for like back to back so many weeks, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So of course, after 7, 8 weeks, you cannot expect it to continue going down, right? In fact, this is already too much, and so it's going to bounce. And when it bounces, it's rejected by the previous resistance, or at least pushback. And that's what happened. And then it continued again. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red candles. So again, definitely it's going to do something, and that it did. And this much is the bound. This is the bound. So no way you can consider that this is all good, right? So that's why my required level matters. These are super important levels for long term. For short term, if you can time it well and good, but for longer term, these are super important. And you must have seen why, because there are all this require even coin ha, coin that touched this required level had to actually struggle to break above. So this is super important. So this is the nature how this is progressing. This is actually this is still correcting, right? You can see clearly a downtrend, and it was rejected by S1. Now still it's a between range, so simply that this is your lower boundary support. If this is taken down, then it goes for S3. It's very simple, and it may not happen in 1 week, 2 week, 3. It could take 2, 3 weeks for it to go down like what how it moved here, and again it's going to have a good bounce, but a lower required level for sure when they go lower, if they go low, right? Then the required level will come down for all the coins. If they go further down, then so this is like a trailing stop loss kind of a thing. Yeah, when the coin goes up, you trail your stop loss, right? Similarly, the required level will also come down if the coin starts going down further and further. So when they start moving up, and so imagine, so required level was this one for an example here when it was here. Now now price is here, required level is here. If the price is here, the required level could be here. If the price is here, required level could be here, and so on. So this is what I'm going to do for all the coins. Okay. So what will happen hypothetically if it, let's say, come down to this level and then start bouncing, required level is here, let's say, then this is an opportunity from here on for a longer term. Until then, I'm talking about long. Those who are with short, they already riding the wave, right? And there's opportunity since November. So for them, they are swing trading. If they are swing trading, if somebody is swing trading, they're enjoying because for them this is a big wave, right? So um, it depends on what side. So I'm talking about long. That long needs to keep required level, and for short, there's plenty of opportunity right now. So algo did well last week and this week, right? That's for sure. Today it's down by 4%, but still it's much better. And this coin is also showing volatility. You see this how ugly candle wicks are. These are bad movement, price movement. I don't like this kind of movement. If this was not algo, probably I would have said differently. Algo is fundamentally good coin. At least there are good researchers and universities involved, so I'm not going to bash algo. At least there's some known person and or entities involved in this project. Otherwise, this chart looks horrible. But anyway, I'm TA, so I'm not going to. I'm going to comment based on chart only. So this is ugly looking chart. Very risky. So anyway, it has to break above required levels far. Alice had a nice week last week, but now it's kind of erasing the. So it's again range bound, very similar to Bitcoin. Right? So you can clearly make out. So you put that into that bucket that I mentioned, that it's not doing anything different than Bitcoin on a weekly time frame. So this is, see, Alice is not trying to go near required level. It's moving away, right? So that's not the top coins. When you see Atom, well, this is one of the top ones simply because it worked hard for it. Nice last week. I mean, amazing last week. And then look at this one. It came down, but look at the recovery. It touched the required level. It has to close above. Okay, that's the requirement. So if it closes above, then it's going to go high without any doubt, right? Because that's a technical level, huge. There are multiple things. Like this is a cluster. This is a heavy resistance zone, and I'm not surprised why it is facing this resistance. It's expected. I'll put a box. So this can be on in your to do in your watch list from an opportunity point of view if you're long, because it has touched the required level, right? So you that's how you categorize, but then it has to close above. AVAX is another solid coin. It is right on top of the required level, not quite able to break above. If you look at, that's the point I was making, why these levels are so important, that it has to close above the required level with a convincing, I mean, not just a spike, but to close above. But nevertheless, we can say this is one of the strongest one. Why not? Because it's not losing its value, staying here and trying to break above. So this is one of the top ones. XS is not looking good since I think, yeah. So we added with a green required level and it never crossed. So um, this has broken the support, and I didn't provide next one because still above the previous week's low. I'll give next one later, but I didn't give simply because it there was no entry for this one, uh, because right from the moment we added, this was not able to break above. So though it is active coin, it was literally not activated because it didn't meet the condition. So block is no change. So weak, very weak. There was some bounce yesterday I saw, but nothing much. If you look at daily, there was I think there was some bounce couple of days, but then nothing. BNB same, nothing, no change, status quo, maintaining the status quo here. Nothing changed. You see, moving sideways. So it's no, there's no opportunity. It's not trying to go up like what Atom did. It's just flat, nothing. We will skip it. We talked about BTC, CELR. So CELR, flat, more or less the same, flat. It's far from the green level, but yeah, not bad. It's still above S2, so it's not that bad. But yeah, it's with Bitcoin. Crow is very similar, close to green comparatively, so it's good. Like it's strong because it didn't make a new low. That's why it's strong. But there's no price action after last week's. This week it was dull, but not bad. Doge is weak. It's moving away with Bitcoin at this moment. There's nothing new with Doge. It has to break our S1 before we even look into it. Dot Dot did well, and little today it's doing well today, but still it has to break over at least S1. When it is near this required level, then that's positive. Still, it's not bad, but yeah, today it's better. But it's not so different than Bitcoin. That's the point. EGLD similar to Bitcoin as far as price action is concerned, flat, nothing. This is like BNB. ETH, relatively weaker week compared to previous week. But the thing is, it didn't make new low. It maintained this low, November low, which is good. But still, it's here. It should be somewhere here. So it has to cover some ground, but there's nothing much. There's no opportunity. File is able to maintain this level. It has this today. This week's low has almost touched this December 3rd low. Right, so that's a sign of weakness. But since it's still above, we can say okay, it's trying to keep up. But this is one of the weakest coins, far away from the required level. FTM is one of the strongest coin, right? Strongest coin last week. Amazing move, amazing. It broke up. It was stopped by the required level, and this week it has broken, right? So it is awesome. I mean, this is strong coin. So this is number one coin, right? One of the top ones. One of the top ones. Why not? Because it deserves. Now when so that's the point I was making, that I'm not going to tie up all the coins with Bitcoin because some of the coins are ignoring Bitcoin or very less sensitive, and this is one of them. So there is opportunity, and I don't want to say there's no opportunity because Bitcoin is weak. No, there is opportunity because it has broken above required level convincingly. Not just touch, it's on top of it. And GRD is nothing much, one of the weakest one at this moment, but above S1, which is good. So that's the positive. HNT had touched the required level, so you can say this is also one of the strongest one, right? Uh, this is one of the strongest one because it touched, and now later it touched this, but I don't know why I added these lines. I should remove it. It's just noise. Okay, so now you see it is approaching this again. So this is likely to break above. So HNT is really in good mood. So this is another coin. So we saw Atom, we saw FTM. This is HTM is another coin which is really good. So there are some coins which are doing well. KC is also showing strength. If you look at it, It's making progress actually, slow progress, but much better than Bitcoin. KDA not bad, but this week was not so good for it. But it's very close to required level. If one good, bounce, 20% bounce, because these coins are crazy. They can make 20% bounce in matter of hours. If it does, then it's going to break above required level. So this coin is still very strong, being very close to the required level. So KDS is still good in my opinion. Um, KSM is relatively weak, and right now it's still below the support and away from required level. So nothing much. Link is showing strength today. Last week was good, and today is showing strength. So if it can continue moving up, like, and come up with this kind of green candle, then that's good news. Next time it's likely to break above. I don't think the next time it will be able to stop, because there are two major rejection, and this pattern that I'm seeing should be able to break above. And this particular orange line has been a support line or trend line, so which is good. It's moving away from it, so that's a big positive. So link is shaping up well, but yeah, much better. LTC, LTC is still on lifeline, on the trend line. Look at the how many times it's going to touch this. So this is a clear range. You can say this low level that you see, if I may extend from here, actually, this is holding up, right? This is holding up. Whatever is this level, 140 level. Maybe I'll make it. Yeah. So 140, approximately 140 is the key level. Otherwise, if that is taken out, then it could go deeper. I don't think this will be able to hold, but yeah, you can say I should not be that aggressive. I can give one chance like that. 107. Well, who cares? Yeah, because so it must not break below this one. So this is also one of the weakest coins. Luna is one of the strongest one, the one of the strongest one. Um, it is above the required level. It was beaten up badly a couple of times, but right now it's still a strong coin. I have a lot of drawings. Oops, let me show you in one day. So I think can move these hammers. It it is able to keep up. I mean, with this white line, which is good. Otherwise, it would have gone down. Yeah. So this orange line is actually rejecting at this moment, but still it's above the green level, so it's already in a good position. So from a big picture point of view, there is no risk, but from a short term point of view, there we can say this is particularly a level where it's getting rejected, right, multiple times. So it's not quite able to recover from this particular level, which is around 93, around 93, 92, 93. You see, so it rejected on a weekly scale. So yeah, so this is significant. So this is upper level. This is another upper level low. So it has to break above this 93 for it to go above. But from a big picture point of view, it has already broken above. So the trend is up. So there's no doubt about the trend. Trend is up and nice momentum. There's no doubt about it. Okay, I'm talking more on a lower time frame, or lower, more local structure here. But there is absolutely no major risk at this moment unless it breaks this level and kind of threaten this level. Then that's a different story. Okay. So the Luna is also strongest one. Mm, MANA, not so good. Still, MANA is flat. You can see, but it's close to required level, so it's not that bad. But right now, flat. Matic reacted from R18, which was obvious. It's below required level, but it's not that horribly low. The week hasn't ended, and it's not that low. It's not that deep. So I would say the whole entire region is a heavy resistance zone because of this orange line, because of R18, and because of, so we can say, and also not only that, this is previous all-time high. Everything put together, this creates a heavy resistance zone. So in other words, if it's able to break above the recent high, then it has much higher level to go, much higher level to go because of this platform, because of this consolidation. So whatever you see here is not unusual. This is okay. The only problem would be if it breaks below S1, then that's a problem. But this is not a concern. It's here. So if it comes down to $2 and try to break below, then we can say there's a point of concern. This is absolutely fine. So this is one of the strongest one as well. One is also now achieved the required level. So another coin in the list, very few coins, and but one more addition, right? Maybe Atom will be the next one coming days, and slowly, if things are improving, and this is what I was saying, even the Bitcoin is not doing so well comparatively. I mean, this coins, altcoins, these coins are doing well, pretty well, and they are leading actually, and that's amazing. They're really ignoring Bitcoin, and investors probably looking into alternatives, right? And which is totally different. And that's why Bitcoin dominance could go down in coming days. That because there's a change in trend I see here. We'll have a quick look at Bitcoin dominance as well. So one is look at them. So slowly, I believe that so many coins. By the way, I mentioned that I have many coins kept ready. Now, I'm going to add a couple of coins in active list as well. But there will be a lot of coins I'll throw. I mean, because I'm just not throwing simply because it doesn't make sense. Selectively, I'm highlighting few which are above the required level, and those are good enough to start with, in my opinion. But later on, I'll add more um, opportunities. But when the Bitcoin improves, right now, throwing more doesn't make any sense, in my opinion. So I, because pointing out something I may point out some coin on an ad hoc, like I did for ICP last night, because I feel that ICP has a greater chance to run. It has beaten up badly, and I see that the structure provide a good. So ICP I added, and I might add that into our active list again. Why not? Good use case. So these are not crap projects. There are people with this community. This I think they're doing for long and so many things. So it, some projects are I don't try to add which where I don't know, I cannot figure out from the website or use case, then I'm a little reluctant. So ICP I'm going to add mm, mm, once it makes some move on the higher end. But I then a Flux, another coin that I'm likely to add. It's a distributed cloud, and I see potential there. So both. So I do consider fundamentals, especially those which are not kind of not my analysis is not based on fundamental, but I I add active list into active list if fundamentally they have some substance, or at least they're very famous. Um, some combination of this. So to be honest, Alice, for an example, Alice I added because the structure was good, not because of fundamental. So if If the structure is good, then also I add sometime. So, but usually 99 90% of the cases I do look for basic fundamentals, but not 100%. Yeah, so I'm going to add couple of coins, and then we'll see things. Opal. Oh, yeah, S2 is abysmal. This is not good. And the last time I mentioned that this is still a weak coin and added, so just avoid it. If it breaks below S2, we'll remove it. Okay, so nothing. Render coin. So render coin is not so good in this week. It's flat. It's flat. So required level. It tried to break above required level. That's why it's still good, and it's not below S2, so it's not at risk at all. No new low, so that's positive. Higher lows, but it's flat at this moment. There's no opportunity. So let it break above the required level. Then it makes sense. Right now, this is still a very ugly consolidation. There's no trend like this. There's still a sideways move, and so doesn't make sense. Sand is also this is consolidation around required level. This is a bit tricky, I understand, because it broke above and now it broke below. So a bit tricky, but I don't mind, as I said, for Matic, because this is still near the required level and above S1. So there's nothing. This is one of the top ones, still one of the top ones. SKL is much better. It's moving away, but it has to cover a lot of ground. So, this is interesting. On a daily, we had this pattern. This is going to be very interesting. Can it recover and go and follow this, or continue going down? Because it has followed each and every turn. This one, and partially this one. So will it recover and follow this one, or continue going down? There's something we'll observe. So Sol is moving away from the required level after reaching this. So very different. I see weakness. Why I don't. One thing I didn't like is about Sol is, you see the current price has broke below last week's low, last week's close. Sorry, last week's opening. My bad. And it's here outside of this. Hmm, Still, the low is not broken, so that's the only thing. But this is not a good sign from Sol, but not as bad. This is the ultimate level. You track this level, December 13th low, which is 148. It must not break below this one, otherwise it's a big problem. That's why I have this red line here. Uni, not bad. Last week was really good, but this is a very natural reaction after so much of downturn. So this is, so it corrected, but not deep enough. So that's positive. So if it can hand, if it doesn't go below this week's low, then it's good. If it breaks below this week's low, then it's bad. Then it could go down further. So you can simply track that way. Whatever 16.6 VET, nothing much, flat. It tried. I can return here. Not so bad, but yeah, nothing, flat at this moment. We are showing weakness, so it's still going down. I should remove this. So failed attempt, multiple attempt, failed attempt, but still higher than the last week's low. Yeah, it has to be somewhere here. Then we are interested because then it will break this particular bearish structure. Okay, that completes everything. I'll end the session and open for your question.